wrestling fans, you got the show Bill Schuyler here at One Wrestling's Total Impact Wrestling Rewind. September 8th, 2016, Delete or Decay. We are on the countdown to Bound for Glory, which will be on Sunday night, October 2nd. And I knew you'd come. What an amazing show. What an amazing reboot of this company, TNA Impact Wrestling, a company that just over a year ago, despite rumors every year since its inception that they were going to go under, that they were going to be put out of business, last year was truly the darkest time I personally have seen TNA in. They were without a home. They were without a lot of things, and people were leaving the product inside. People were leaving it, the fans, on the outside. And a lot of changes were occurring, and then things slowly began to pick up. They began to get talent piece by piece and moving and creating new characters. We had your EC3s bringing in Drew Galloway, Bram, the Wolves, the Hardys. So much action and great feuds and storylines. Seeing Bobby Lashley grow into one of the greatest champions in the company's history right now. One of the most entertaining wrestlers in the business, in my opinion, right now. A guy who I would love to see in a cross-promotional thing, to have him go up against a Brock Lesnar, in a dream match situation. And of course, EC3, absolutely one of the greatest young talents in the business, one of the greatest guys on the mic, and he is fantastic in the ring. He's not one of the greatest scientific wrestlers, nor is he one of the greatest brawlers. He is just equal part of everything, and he is just, to me, is utter perfection as a professional wrestler. That's what EC3 is. And I just got to give a shout out to President of TNA, Billy Corgan, and the changes that he is implementing and changing and growing this company to creative itself with Big John Gabrick, Dave Lagana, Matt Conway, and there's many others. I don't know all their names, but I mean, these are the top guys. And of course, Matt Hardy himself, who is the one and only sole booker for the Hardy brothers. Everything that has to do with the Hardys is done by Matt and Matt alone. Matt is one of the greatest minds in the business today, and it's without a doubt visually. You're seeing it in these deletion films. You've been seeing it over the last 4 years or so, as he was on the indie scene, the Ring of Honor, coming back through and then into TNA, and it's just gotten better and better. And he has just revitalized him and Jeff Hardy's careers, and they are just doing everything that needs to be done, and it's damn entertaining week in and week out. But enough of that, enough congratulations, enough pats on the back. Let's get right into it. It's Delete or Decay. It's like professional wrestling on an acid trip. If you saw the final deletion, you know what you're getting into with the final deletion 2. No, it's not a carbon copy. It is a sequel. And being a sequel, it's not a lesser product than the original. I like them both equally. I don't see one really being better than the other, except for the fact that the first one was the first one, which made it stand out and will always stand out because it was an original concept that really hasn't been seen in this form. I mean, back in the day, if you will, traveling back in time, as I like to do. Men like Kevin Sullivan, Jake the Snake Roberts, and many others would have concepts like this, but they weren't put onto film like they were doing. But I mean, you'd have great things with Sullivan, like with the purple haze coming out of the ocean and different, just crazy things. You get a greeting by Senor Benjamin and Vanguard 1 welcoming us and expressing that all the actions performed in this are by professionals, yada yada yada. Don't try this at home. And then Vanguard 1 stating that no animals were harmed in the filming of the final deletion. We get a brief recap of last week's invasion of the Hardy compound by Rosemary. Rebecca then instructing Senor Benjamin to ready the compound for massacre. 3 graves are dug, tombstones are in place. Written upon there is Decay, see you when you get here. And then we had an amazing operatic version of the obsolete song playing as Matt Hardy invites us, because these events must be documented. But first, the platoon must get in touch with the primal sides. Senor Benjamin, prepare the personal zoo for visitation. Yes, fans, I said prepare the personal zoo for visitation. My, oh my. Then we go back to the Impact Zone, where we have the Miracle Michael Bennett coming out to the ring with his lovely wife, Maria KANNELLIS-BENNETT, who is also the Knockouts champion and the head of the Knockouts division. They go into a rant, shooting from the hip, about how TNA and Dixie Carter and no one in power basically gives them any respect, despite all the great things they are doing for the company and continue to do, and plans that they have to do. But he says that he will be the world heavyweight champion despite these obstacles, that nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to stop him. Not Dixie Carter, not Bobby Lashley, and sure as hell not Moose, who earlier today he fired via text message because when he was raised, his mother told him that you never bite the hand that feeds you. And apparently Moose and a lot of other people here in this company weren't raised properly by their mothers, unlike himself. Again, great promo. The signing of Maria and Mike Bennett was a great coup by TNA. WWE, pardon me, fans, WWE and NXT passed over Michael Bennett, and it amazed me. He's always been one of my favorites from the new generation of Ring of Honor stars. And with Maria coming along with him, I thought it was a gimme that he was going to go to NXT and they would bring Maria in and she could be part of the revival of the women's wrestling scene in WWE. But they passed, and TNA jumped on it. I remember last year I was there at Ring of Honor, seeing their last match in Philadelphia in Ring of Honor, and then not even 3 weeks later, I believe it was, there in December or January, boom, I'm watching the Miracle Michael Bennett coming out to TNA for their pay-per-view, and he picked up right where the Kingdom left off, and they've been knocking it through the stratosphere every week since they've come to TNA. They are absolutely, without a doubt, part of this new generation of TNA superstars that are going to take this company to that next level. I'm telling you, fans, Impact Wrestling is going to continue to grow and be back on top of its game, and these dark days in the past are indeed going to be just that, the past. Again, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but Billy Corgan is doing all the right things. And he's not just interested in being the president of TNA. Oh no, the rumors are true. He is doing what he can, and he is attempting to actually buy the company out from Panda, from the Carters. And I truly believe that Billy Corgan will be the owner, one way or the other, either by himself or I'm sure with partners. But he will be the owner of TNA Wrestling, and we're going to see an entirely new world open up for Impact Wrestling fans and for the industry itself. Again, but enough of that. Saying all this, Dixie Carter comes out to ringside to answer Michael Bennett. And she tells him that, has he done talking? There's enough talking that's went on. This is a show about wrestling. This is not about as the miracle turns. Nice little dig at the WWE and the long and promos that open up the shows, usually every Monday Night Raw. And guilty of it themselves. TNA doing the same thing when Dixie Carter was the villainess in the company. Promos going on and on and on in the beginning, so they're able to even poke fun at themselves now, which tells me that they're on that right path. And Dixie, even though she's lost the actual true leadership powers that she had in the company, loves the business and remains in it, and is great as his on-screen character. She tells him that he will not be getting the main event slot at Bound for Glory. He will not be wrestling for the World Heavyweight title. He will not be facing Bobby Lashley. But he will be in a major bout at Bound for Glory. And a matter of fact, he'll be going up against a man who he fired earlier today. You know him, I'm sure. His name is Moose, and she signed him to a contract earlier this same day after he was fired by the miracle Michael Bennett. Michael Bennett goes absolutely crazy hearing about this. He's not going to fight Moose, blah, yada, yada, on and on and on. And we then have, up next is a knockout tag team match. Former knockout champion Allie tag teaming up with former knockout champion Sienna, going up against former Impact knockout champion Gail Kim and Jade, a future knockouts champion, I'm sure. Great match. Allie being bullied from the beginning of this match to the end by Sienna. As always, it's done. She was drugged down to ringside, put up on the ropes, ordered to do this, ordered to do that. Sienna basically taking most of the ring time in this match because Allie doesn't know how to wrestle. Of course, in reality, she is Cherry Bomb, one of the greatest female wrestlers in the business. And I'm sure as the months progress here, we will see her become a wrestler in all aspects. We'll get into that here just briefly. As this match went on, Allie went off the top turnbuckle to hit a double axe handle and accidentally missed her opponent and hit Sienna. Well, Sienna was none too happy with this. She hit her with the silencer, and reluctantly Jade would pin Allie for the win. Sienna leaving the ring, Gail Kim and Jade helping her up. All three looking a bit confused. And I'm sure we're seeing an alliance here where we will have Gail Kim and Jade training Allie to become a real professional wrestler. Nobody better to train you than the first ever Knockouts champion, Gail Kim, former WWE diva superstar, one of the greatest women's wrestlers in the history of the sport. And of course, Jade, one of the greatest new generation women's wrestlers, an indie sensation from the moment she strapped on the boots. I'm really looking forward to see how they progress with this Allie storyline, because I've loved what's been happening so far, and now we're going to really get it. I mean, this is a story that we've seen before numerous times with different types of wrestlers. It's the underdog story, but I think we're going to see great things because creative here is just on the money. Now we get back to more deletion footage as King Maxwell, Rebecca, Brother Nero, and Senor Benjamin are told that Matt has had another premonition, that a great battle is coming sooner than later. And the animals have the souls of, get this fans, George Washington, our first president, in the giraffe. Smoking Joe Frazier, heavyweight champion boxer of the world, one of the greatest of all time, in the body of a kangaroo. Genghis Khan in a Bengal tiger. And then, alas, the monkeys. Yes, these monkeys don't contain souls because they are simply spot monkeys, similar to Brother Nero, who, when he was a spot monkey, would climb anything and drop off of it, jumping from here to there, just like these monkeys. But they are named. That one is DJZ, this one is Mandrews, that one would be Andrew Everett, and those two are Matt and Nick, the Bucks of Youth. Great little rib on the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. I laughed so hard when they hit that. Great stuff here. We're back to the Impact Zone. Billy Corgan has an announcement to make. He's standing in front of a podium. There is a covering over top of something on that podium. Corgan declares that the King of the Mountain title has been retired, and that there is a new title, the Impact Grand Championship, is born. And he uncovers it, and we have a brand new belt. Sweet looking title. I like it. I like it quite a bit, actually. A lot of fans are here or there on it. It looks very modern, somewhat futuristic, sleek. It's far from looking like a traditional old school belt, such as King of the Mountain title, which is a beautiful belt. But this fits in for the new look of the company for it's 2016, almost 2017. They're going for a look. It's a better looking title than the X Division title right now. I'll be honest with you, I like it better than the new WWE Universal title. But I digress on that. Drew Galloway interrupts Billy Corgan and comes to the ring. He says, you got a new title. You got new types of matches, and you're looking for a new champion. Well, how about a 6'5", 16-year veteran who's just turned 31 years old and knows how to make a splash whenever and wherever he appears? He goes, I'm not your first choice, Billy Mate. I'm your only choice. Great stuff from Drew Galloway, one of my favorites, and another guy that's taken this company into the future. Another guy that the WWE dropped the ball on. And I'm telling you, I mean, this company is being filled up with young talent that WWE just weren't able to get off the ground for whatever reasons occurred. They're taking their pieces of guys from TNA, Bobby Roode, Eric Young is coming in, Austin Aries, Samoa Joe. But these are all guys that have been around for a while. They're not rookies. They're not young guys that have 15, 20 years to go. These are guys in the later aspects of their career. AJ Styles, I can't forget him. So many. But I mean, that's a story, completely different situation there with NXT and what TNA is doing. TNA is rebuilding themselves, and they're doing it with great talent like these men. Guys also like Bram, Jesse Goddard, Eli Drake. There's just so much, and they just picking up Aaron Rex. We're going to get into that right now. Corgan says that this title isn't about politics. It's not about favoritisms. There's new rules. There's a whole new vibe, basically, to what's going to go on with this championship. And there's going to be an 8-man tournament to crown the first ever TNA Grand Champion. And that's going to happen. That champion will be crowned at Bound for Glory on October 2nd. Now, these matches will consist of 3 rounds with 3 minutes each. There will be 3 judges, and the winner of each round gets 10 points, the loser 9. A match can be won at any time via pinfall or submission. And then we have Aaron Rex coming out, and he begins tearing into Drew Galloway on the microphone and basically tells him straight out that he's going to possibly put him on a medical chopper to take him back to Scotland when he's done with him. Billy Corgan gets control of the situation before violence actually erupts and explains that Rex is going to have his shot for this title at his debut match in an opening match in the tournament at a later time. But right now, Drew Galloway is going to have his shot right now. And boom, we're out. Braxton Sutter, X Division star. Pepper Parks is formerly known, of course, husband to Allie, a.k.a. Cherry Bomb. Interesting match. You got to watch these. It's something very different. It's unique. Some fans are going to love it. Some are going to hate it. Some are going to be on the fence. First round, Drew Galloway won. Second round, Sutter won. And the third round, Drew Galloway win via submission with the Iron Maiden. And hand up raised, psyched to be the winner of this match. Rockstar Spud would come down and attack Sutter. Yeah, he would take a turnbuckle off and get his mouth up on it and curb stomp him, busting his mouth open in revenge for the damage that he did to Rockstar Spud, causing him to have the braces, and his hands are covered in blood from Sutter's mouth, rubbing it on his chest, and this Rockstar Spud is on fire, and he is a unbelievable talent. When he was playing the role of Dixie Carter's lackey, working for the Carters in EC3 when he first came in, and now being back to being Rockstar Spud, the villain, the guy that they hired initially because he is a great wrestler. He's one of the smallest wrestlers in the business. He may even be smaller than Team 3D's Runt, but his in-ring talents are really, really good, and I'm just looking forward to seeing where they're going with this feud and with this character. Again, another X Division star. But as far as this type of match, I'm not completely sold on it. I don't think it's going to go over right away with fans. I think it's going to have to grow on them. I believe they're going to wind up having to tweak things here and there. I think one of the things they need to do right away is have rotating judges, celebrity judges. And you could have like regular celebrities, but I'm talking about, I want sports celebrities coming in former wrestlers, it could be football players, basketball, hockey, it doesn't matter, legends of their sport, real officials from other sports, making it interesting each and every week where you're having these matches, or the pay-per-view when it's up for the title. I don't know how they're going to handle that as we go along. I'm venturing to say it'll be like, has to be defended within 30 days. We've talked about this before, myself to you, my fellow guys at Big Slam Nation and One Wrestling. All of us want to, can we get a TV title back? Nobody wants to do a TV title. TV titles are perfect. I'm not going to go into that. That's what I really wanted to see with this new title that they were going to have when it was announced. But I'm going to give this a shot, and we're going to see what happens. It'll be interesting to see what goes on after Bound for Glory when we find out who is going to be your champion. Obviously, you would have to think it's going to be Aaron Rex versus Drew Galloway. And I don't know who they're going to go with. I mean, Drew has been a champion already. He is the heel, but Rex is new to the company. They're going to look to want to push him. We're going to have to see. I think a lot's going to depend on a certain somebody that's going to be making their way into TNA. We're going to talk about that a little later in the show. We're back to deletion. We got a guy leaving a liquor store, and as he gets into his pickup truck and turns it on, Smashing Pumpkins 1979 is playing on the radio. He groans and changes the station and finds some old-time country western playing, talking about the pines in Carolina, something to that effect. And he sees Rosemary staggering down the road towards him. He pulls over, backs up to her, and she spins around. She's completely, out of it, looking like a crazed rock and roll junkie. Marilyn Manson makeup, full effect, the crazy eyes, the whole deal. And he asks her, "Were you looking for a ride, sugar?" And she comes over to him and says, "Absolutely looking for a ride, sugar." And he goes, "Well, I'll give you a ride all night long." And at that point, Abyss comes out of nowhere, and he's at the passenger door. And then Crazy Steve comes over the top of the car, right down into the windshield. And bang, you see all three of them getting into the truck. Truck is pulling away, and there's the man face down in the road with his pants pulled down to his knees, exposing boxer shorts. What in the hell transpired there? I don't even want to speculate. Definitely not your normal professional wrestling. Anything going on right here. This again is just beautiful stuff. And as they're driving off, they see the signs for Cameron. And Abyss says, "I hear Cameron is beautiful this time of year," as all three of them laugh evilly as they drive on down the road. And then we get to what was my, other than obviously deletion, but one of my favorite things I've seen TNA do, and I hope they continue to do this. It's been done by other companies, including TNA, at different times with different champions, but it's never been done consistently. And one thing TNA is doing right now is booking consistently. Their storylines, everything's making sense, and they're keeping it focused. And they're not leaving us and changing things midstream, making us like we're idiots 2 weeks later and everything's different and we're just supposed to go along with it. Well, they're not doing that now. And this is the Bound for Glory World Heavyweight Championship press conference, set up basically like you would see for UFC, for professional boxing. Both men talking it out at the table. And this again was another home run for creative. EC3 and Lashley, absolutely phenomenal verbal exchange between both of these men. EC3, one of the greatest guys on the stick in the business today. I'm saying this a lot tonight, but it's true. I mean, these guys are the future. and EC3 and Bobby Lashley. Lashley has improved so much on the microphone, and he is so believable as this character that he's portraying on TNA, because he's playing very much himself. And when he's talking about these guys and he's looking at them and he considers them weak and not in his caliber, I think he really believes that. I think it's similar to what you had with the Brock Lesnar, where he's, these guys are sheep. They're nothing to me. He just will beat them down, send me the next one. Lashley, same way. Not a carbon copy of Brock Lesnar in any kind of way. Just another guy that's able to be a legit fighter and able to compete in MMA and professional wrestling. And Lashley goes into a big thing about how the company is under fire, and that's what he's, as a champion, he's defending this company, TNA, and against everybody. They're being attacked by other wrestling promotions, by fans or other promotions. UFC has guys shooting their mouths off, making threats, basically talking about Conor McGregor. He says, when you have this title, you have to defend it against everybody that's coming against it in the company. Are you that man? Are you able to defend this company along with that title? And EC3 tells him, you're right. I'm not that man. I'm the man that you call when the guy who defends the title and the company needs to have his ass kicked. You call me. And basically says that he's going to be the EC3 time champion come Bound for Glory. And then we go into another session of the tournament. We have Jesse Goddard going up against Eli Drake. Jesse would win rounds 1 and 2 by 1 point each. And in the third round, with 46 seconds left, after numerous pinfall attempts and a really good solid match with Goddard and Drake. Jesse Goddard's impressed me. He's been impressing me for some time. Eli Drake, I'm telling you, Eli Drake is on the money. And he would, at that 40-second mark, would hit him with blunt force trauma and pin Jesse Goddard and move forward in the tournament, hopefully to get what once was his title, King of the Mountain. That is now, of course, this new championship. Very interested to see where this tournament goes. We get a commercial by the Fixer, aka Tyrus Brodus Clay, and Aaron Rex will be getting his in-ring debut in the first round of a Grand Championship tournament. He'll be going up against former X Division and Indie star, the Carolina Caveman, Trevor Lee. Mahabali Shera will be going up against former X Division and multiple tag team champion Eddie Edwards of the Wolves. And then, of course, we'll be going into the second rounds, and we'll see what goes from there. And bang, we are back with EC3 and Bobby Lashley, and they are fighting all across the Impact Zone, which of course is empty except for the spectators that were there specifically for the press conference. Lashley is attacked and beaten on by EC3 initially, and then Lashley gets a hold of him and basically fights him all the way up the stairs to the very top of the Impact Zone, and them guys are exchanging fists. I mean, there's no wrestling here. These guys are fighting, and then Lashley would throw EC3 down the steps all the way. The match would continue back down, fighting out side through they call it the elephant door, you know, the big giant heavy sliding doors that you see in the back of arenas. They're going outside. There's an ambulance there. Lashley just pummeling the living daylights out of EC3, and he dumps him and throws him into the trash and tells him that he's the champ and that's a chump. And Lashley walks away. EC3 being helped by the paramedics. Cannot wait for this match at Bound for Glory. This is going to be one hell of a pay-per-view, friends. It's going to be a return to the prestige that Bound for Glory once had and has been lacking in the last few years. This is going to, I think, is going to be really, really a good show. Probably the best TNA show of the year. And then we're back to the deletion. And friends, fans, the Roman candles are back. The fireworks are back. Skarsgård, the dilapidated boat, is back. It's being used as a weapon and as a defensive tool. Vanguard 1 is not only there and active, he has been armed. We have just an unbelievable violence erupting at the compound. The Decay are just incredible. This is must-see film footage. You've got to see this, and there is an uninterrupted director's cut available on OneWrestling.com at TNA Impact Wrestling. Also, you can get it straight on YouTube itself, and it's the entire second film from beginning to end. And of course, you can watch the first deletion uninterrupted as well. Watch them all together and just enjoy it again, because it's that entertaining, and there's different things you pick up as you watch it numerous times, like I have. You have Abyss, who looks to have been drowned. Senor Benjamin waiting to see. There's no bubbles coming up. There's nothing. And then out of nowhere, a guy in a suit comes walking towards Senor Benjamin. It's the attorney, Christopher Parks, Abyss's brother, his alter ego. Wow, freak time. Wasn't Chris and Abyss and Joseph Parks all the same person? But Abyss is at the bottom of the lake, and this guy's standing there in a suit, dry as a bone. He asks if Senor Benjamin has seen his brother, Chris. No habla inglés, and he apologizes, and he starts speaking to him in Spanish, and he said he's looking for Chris or Abyss. And then he throws open his arms to hug Senor Benjamin, and Benjamin tasers the living hell out of him into unconsciousness, puts him in the front end of the earth mover, and buries him in one of the graves. And as he's filling that grave in, Abyss appears out of nowhere, grabs him by the throat, choke slams him, and then continues to choke him, laughing maniacally. And we then go, and you got Brother Nero going to war with Crazy Steve. They're fighting in the water, trying to drown each other. They're back and forth. It's all over the place. Just amazing stuff with the boat. There's too much to even try to explain. You've got to watch it, fans. You've got to watch this footage. And then here another part. Crazy Steve says he can't see, and he's panicking. The makeup is gone from his face. And he says, face paint, regenerate. And bang, his face paint comes back. And all of a sudden, he's got his strength back and his power, if you will. And the war continues with him and Brother Nero. Then we have Abyss getting into it with Matt Hardy. Abyss calls for Janice, and Janice, he's able to get a hold of Janice, the big 2x4 with all the nails in it. He goes to attack Matt Hardy with it after he's already beaten Matt up. And as he goes in for the kill, Brother Nero rushes in and pushes Matt out of the way and takes a shot to the stomach by Janice, and he drops, not moving, on the ground. And Abyss tells Rosemary to go and get her child, or get her baby, and he'll handle things from there. And again, just unbelievable stuff in this. So violent, so much chaos going on. You get Rosemary, who's in the house, and her and Rebby go at it, and King Maxwell is trying to get out and escape, and then it's Matt Hardy face to face with Rosemary, and she'd already been in the house trying to get King Maxwell. Vanguard 1 attacks her. Again, it's armed, and he's trying to get King Maxwell to safety, and she sprays her mist into Vanguard 1, and Vanguard 1 goes down. Another victim of the Decay is down. Brother Nero is down. Vanguard 1 is down. Senor Benjamin is down. Now Rosemary and Matt Hardy are face to face. She goes to spray her mist at him, and he sucks. The entire mist goes into him, and he looks all crazy and at her, and he's full of power, and then he blasts the mist back into her face, and she goes out of control with it, crazed, and she runs off, and King Maxwell is safe. Rebecca is safe. Brother Nero sacrificed himself unselfishly, and you see Abyss, and then put Senor Benjamin in the back of the pickup truck, and all three of them drive away. So Senor Benjamin has been kidnapped by the Decay. Wow, what a show. Fans, if you have not seen this episode, I urge you to get on there, YouTube, on demand, go to the Fight Network, if you have Roku or Apple TV, and you can get Impact Wrestling episodes from the past year, and pay-per-views and the like going back, I think 5 or 6 years in the past. It's basically like a WWE network, not as extensive, but similar, and you can watch a lot of stuff on there for free. It's really cool, and it'll give you a chance. If you're not a long-term fan, you can see some of the great stuff we've talked about in the past. A lot of the stuff you hear me talk about back in the day on the Impact Rebellion show with Big Ray for WrestleZone, and on his Big Ray's podcast. And of course, I used to do the back in the day segment at the Can-Am Wrestling show, and for Big Slam Nation as well. But, you know, I digress, as we like to say. Fans, follow me, if you will, at You Got the Show on Twitter. Hit me up. I will follow you back. I'll talk with you. You know, we'll smoke a joke and have fun. Whatever you can do online. Love to talk about pro wrestling, movies, whatever it is. But pro wrestling is what it's all about. And hit us up here at the Big Slam Nation. Give us a follow on there, retweet, and keep up with us as we keep up what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. Episode 44 of the Big Slam Nation just came out Friday night. Check that out. It's a prediction for WWE Backlash with special guest Bin Hameen on there with the whole crew was not on the show that night, including myself. But the Big Slam Nation consists of myself, Big Ray at Big Ray Show on Twitter, Billy Ray Valentine at Obi-Wan You Know Me, OKAYFABE at OKAYFABE, the Professor Quintana at PROFPW Hustle. He is the glorious prophet, the Professor Quintana, the dirtiest in the city. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about 8 Track Brown. You could follow him at Pharaoh of Fancy, and all the letters are in capitals. And my man from Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, I'm talking about the one, the only, the nature boy, FAMEBLACK. Fame, who does the Raw review each and every week for OneWrestling.com. Bill Apter, our guru, our leader, the icon. Follow him at Apter1Wrestling on Twitter. Follow him at Bill Apter on Facebook. He is the legend. He's the one and the only Bill Apter. Check out WrestleZone. Again, the Impact Rebellion show with Big Ray and OKAYFABE each and every week. Bin Hameen, Inshallah, Infidel, $5 slaps. Ooh, we know all about that. If you don't know, you need to know. Find out about Bin Hameen. Yes, indeed, friends. And, you know, again, we're here talking about Impact Wrestling. TNA, this company is on fire right now. They have been reborn, rejuvenated, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. These guys are going straight to the top, and they're not going to jump the gun like in the past. They're not going to try to go to war with the WWE and all this. They're going to slowly rebuild piece by piece with a solid foundation. Now, news coming out again. Billy Corgan is not an on-screen character. He is the real deal. He is the real president of TNA Wrestling. He again is also looking to actually purchase the company. Matt Hardy is the creative controller for everything that has to go with the Hardys. The creative team remains to be Big John Gabrick, Matt Conway, and Dave Lagana. These guys are doing everything that needs to be done the right way. Now, they've been there for a long time, and things have not been going like they are now. So I think you got to say that two guys changed this product and allowed the creative team to go in these new directions as well. And that's Billy Corgan and one broken Matt Hardy. EC3 has re-signed with a multiple-year contract with Impact Wrestling, and he is being booked for indie dates. And TNA is doing this for all their talent now. Once they renew their contracts, they will be able to appear and wrestle in indie promotions throughout the globe. I believe it's still the same thing that they can't be on pay-per-view, but I'm not even sure if that's the case. Find out as this is new and upcoming. But I mean, EC3, Drew Galloway are fighting all the time on the indies, Evolve Wrestling and the like. We're getting Cody R will be appearing in TNA. You say, Cody R? Yes, Cody Runnels, a.k.a. Cody Rhodes. He's not being allowed so far by the WWE to use the Rhodes name because he never used it prior to entering the WWE as a wrestler. And kind of as EC3 said during the promo with Lashley at the press conference, that what he had done with the X division, that, you know, basically crapping on an entire division and disrespecting them and the title, was a dick move. And there's a lot of dick moves being done in the company at this time, and they're all being perpetrated by Lashley. This thing with Cody, with his father passing away, and all the great matches and selflessness that Cody Rhodes and his family have done for the WWE, I think it's a real dick move not to let him use the Rhodes name, especially when you damn well know the kid's going to come back to the WWE. They didn't leave on bad terms. Now, they may be a little concerned because he's going to come in and wrestle for TNA. You heard me right. Cody Rhodes will be wrestling in TNA in the next couple months. He will not be signing a contract with TNA. He will be coming in like an old school attraction in the territory days. He's going to be going from place to place in the indies and throughout the world is what he's doing. He's actually going to be wrestling for Ring of Honor, TNA, and Evolve Wrestling, and I believe it's New Japan, all at the same time. That's big stuff. Cody Rhodes is going to make a lot of money. And his stock is going to go way up here. And when he returns to the WWE, which I'm sure he's going to go back within a year or two, he'll be able to come back and be refreshed and have a whole new look and a whole new respect by the fans. And Cody Rhodes is going to change the industry when it comes to wrestling for the indies and working for these companies like Ring of Honor and TNA, where they're allowed to exchange talent. Something that used to always be the case years ago with the territories that was killed off by Vince McMahon with the WWF when they eliminated the territories back in the 80s. And of course, Alberto Del Rio has been released by the WWE along with his girlfriend Paige. And rumors are flying that Del Rio could possibly sign to TNA. He also could do the same thing that Cody's doing and come in for appearances. And then continue to wrestle in the indies and down to Mexico and do what he will. I don't know how much money TNA would have to give for him. But you got to realize, Dave, Bobby Roode is gone. James Storm is gone. Austin Aries is gone. Eric Young's been gone. So there was 4 guys that had pretty big contracts with the company. Samoa Joe, another one. So all that money is there, which allows them to sign new talent like Aaron Rex and bringing in a Cody Rhodes and a Del Rio. And if Del Rio comes in, I'm sure that Paige will find her way in as well. Now, she's not able to wrestle yet because she's on a contract with the WWE, I believe, for another 2 years. Now, she's already got attorneys, and she's looking into legal matters because WWE had allegedly threatened her that she had to break off her relationship with Del Rio because he was married and it was bad for business. And if she didn't comply with that they weren't going to push her and they were going to basically bury her. And she refused to break up with Del Rio. And then she suddenly was given a urine test, which she subsequently failed for an undisclosed substance. And she's suspended. So the burial continues. So I believe there's going to be an investigation to see if this drug test was on the up and up or was something a little hanky going on with this drug test, because it just seems awful convenient that she would get drug tested right as they're telling her that she had to break up with Del Rio. She refuses, bang, she's hit and comes up dirty. She's 24 years old. She comes from a big wrestling family, one of the most prestigious families in England. And she's another one that will be able to make money all over the indie scene. Granted, the women don't make as much money as the guys do, but she's still a major superstar. The first ever NXT and Divas champion at the same time. Paige is fantastic in the ring, on the mic. There's a lot of potential there. I hate to see her ruin her possibilities of getting back with the WWE, though. That's the only thing. And I believe she's already damaging that by seeking legal action. So she may never make her way back to the WWE. But Paige, as a knockout, she could rejuvenate that knockouts division and build that up and start bringing in more talent for the knockouts, which they desperately need more talent. They need to have more guys brought into the X division as well. Those two, their roster is kind of thin across the board. And they need to steadily start building that up. But that women's division, they definitely need to push, because women's wrestling is the thing right now. And WWE is ruling the roost when it comes to women's wrestling. And TNA used to have that locked down. The knockouts division was the best in the industry. But that, fans, is everything I got for you this week. I will see you next week at Total Impact Wrestling Rewind as we continue on the road to Bound for Glory. I'll see you at the matches, and I'll catch you down the road.